Today is October the 16th, 2020. This is the Service Hero Show, 365 days of awesome. Celebrate success through service. My name is Tamara Hunter, and I am your host. And this is the show that shares inspiring stories of those that are inspiring others. So let's do this. Today we have a service hero that has been nominated, and as I've been getting to know this man, I can't believe I wasn't the one that nominated him. However, there was someone else that did, and in honor of that nomination, I'm actually going to share something, and then we're going to get started from there. So let's wait a moment, and you guys, you'll recognize this voice, I am sure.
I nominated Rocky Stone as a service hero for obvious reasons. Number one, he is a person who has persevered, gotten up time after time after time. He has dealt with something that most people couldn't even imagine. And I love the fact that he shares his story in order to help others overcome whatever obstacle they're dealing with at the time. I love you, Rocky. Keep going, man.
I had no idea.
Well, he actually did send me. I had to let you know, Loren, you sent me a clip. However, he sent it to me, and the format was so little. And by the time I tried blowing it up, that we'd be able to see him, it was like he was like blurry, and I'm like, oh no, that's not going to work. So and it was so sweet. However, I will forward it to you afterwards so you can actually see it, because his face, it was just. I mean, I nearly teared up when I saw it.
I started to, listening to him. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, very, very, very sweet. And I want to recognize we have Helene Wilson. Helene Wilson is our first ambassador of the chat. And I want to welcome you, because what she does is she welcomes all of us. I love it. I love it. And thank you for your service, Helene. You are always such a service hero example. And Ruben is on station. Ruben, you're going to enjoy this show. I absolutely know it. And he's being welcomed too. So as we get into this, Rocky, you know, first of all, your story is one that I want people to be ready. You know, I have tissue usually around here, and it's in a little round thing. This one you may need a box of it, a huge box of it. However, we're also going to have some fun. The story that Rocky is sharing is, and truly, when I say inspiring stories of those that are inspiring others, I think that was inspired by Rocky's story. Truly, you know, I don't know how else to even say it. And Lori Whitney, I love you. I want to recognize Lori Whitney as a contributor to the Tour of Love, and we'll be talking about that in a little bit. Thank you for contributing. She is also an author, which we're going to be talking about that very subject matter, and she's written a couple of books that she sent, and I actually have them right now because they are available through the raffle that we're going to be having for the Tour of Love. So thank you, Lori, for that. Rocky, you are a phenomenon. You're a walking, talking miracle, aren't you?
I have been told that by countless people, and I don't try to be conceited about it or anything, but there is no honest, logical, earthly explanation as to why I'm still here. I mean, people and doctors, you know, my entire life have been saying there's no earthly reason why you should be here, blah, you know. I've had doctors say, get out of my office because there's nothing wrong with you. How are you standing here?
Right. And the story, you know, I almost wanted to, I could have gone a couple different ways, and I decided to handle this with the inspirational thought, but all of a sudden, because I saw some of those the collection of stuff that you have, and everything, and I thought, okay, Back to the Future, okay, now we'll have Back to Future music, and then the theme song, and then and then we'll say, yes, we're going back to the future, and then cut to the Vietnam era time where you have the helicopters blah, 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 and the music going blah, 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 blah. Okay, guys, you're getting something here, blah, 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 blah. And because your story has a lot to do with the Vietnam era, the Vietnam War in particular, and in particular from there, even drilling down more into something that has a color that helps to find it, right?
That's pretty true, because we'll get into it in just a little while, but this is a good segue into what my two favorite colors actually are and the reason behind them.
Okay, all right. So we're going to go there. What are your two favorite colors, and what are the reasons behind them?
Well, being a Sagittarius, a normal characteristic trait is the favorite color is purple. Well, for many, many years, mine have been silver and black, because every dark cloud has a silver lining.
I love it. Okay. You know what? All right. Loren, you inspired me, so I did buy one. There you go. In honor of you being a nominee from Loren Harris, there's a bell. That's a bell ringer right there. Yes, every cloud does have a silver lining, and the story that you were born with this story. You did not in any which way walk into this story. You were born into it. And at 19 months old, guys, any of you that are parents, any of you that have ever been around a baby, you can recognize 19 months old is not very old. And how would you like to hear from doctors that your child, your son, has what? They heard what?
I'm sorry?
What did your parents hear when you were 19 months old? What were they facing then?
Well, it wasn't until a few months ago of this year that I finally started to realize that everything that started while I was still in the womb. And so start from the beginning. The Agent Orange my dad was exposed to in Vietnam is what caused me to develop an orange-sized medulloblastoma brain tumor that developed underneath the cerebellum part of my brain, which helps you control motor functions. And so at some point around 19 months old in 1981, it had developed largely enough it was pushing my skull pushing my brain up to the inside of my skull, and it was causing my eyes to cross. And so, and this is hearsay, because I was 19 months old and I didn't know any better and I couldn't talk. But my mom kept taking me to various doctors at Balboa Naval Hospital in San Diego, California, ironically enough, where I was born. My name's Rocky, Balboa Naval Hospital, go figure. So she kept taking me to numerous doctors. Oh, he has a virus, he'll be fine in a couple days, blah, blah, blah. Well, being the strong-hearted Leo woman she was, and again, hearsay stories, barricaded herself in a doctor's office and said, I'm not leaving till something's done. My child is sick. And then the doctor shone a pin light in my eye and immediately sent me to have a CAT scan done, and that's when they found the tumor. So they rushed me into brain surgery and removed a large portion of the tumor along with the cerebellum. And because of the amount of the cerebellum that they removed, they gave me less than a year to live, claiming I would be severely retarded, a slobbering vegetable, completely bedridden. Where's my camera? There it is. And in that bedridden state, I would be able to move my eyes, and if my parents were lucky, some facial movement. And within 3 hours of the surgery, I was down on the floor playing. But downside is they couldn't remove all of the tumor without killing me, so they stunted it with 7,500 rads of radiation to the back of my head and base of my spine, causing basal cell carcinoma, the most common form of cancer, skin cancer that's caused by the sun. In my case, I wasn't so lucky because it was administered to me. So just, it's Agent Orange was a chemical that they sprayed on plants to burn them so Charlie couldn't hide. And I honestly don't know how my dad was in the vicinity of it. I don't think he was necessarily directly sprayed with it, but even survivors, Vietnam vets, even in this time, that were on the boats, and the Agent Orange floated across the water. They are now contracting or being afflicted with basal cell carcinoma because of that.
And so your parents, when you're 19 months old, I had a Leo mom too, so I get that one with red hair. So I'm picturing it, and I'm from San Diego, and I know that hospital because I am from, I've never been treated there, but I come from a military family, Navy, of course. And so you're talking my language. I'm feeling it and everything, and I'm loving your mom, barricading herself in that room, saying, I'm not going until you figure this out. And, we talk about this a lot within the buddies, and we, what is that? We have to be our own self-advocate, or we need someone to be an advocate for us, or a combination of it. And there you go. I love that story, a nugget right there, guys, a nugget. And so then the doctor looks in your eyes. I would have thought that they possibly would have done that before. But again, hearsay, we will take that into consideration. These are the stories that you know. And then there you go. You're being rushed off. Every parent, may I just say, every parent has always thought, what would I, how would I handle something like this? And being the strong Leo mom that you had, I can, and now with knowing your story, I'm thinking, okay, it makes a lot of sense. How she did. And there is more to this though than, okay, you're being told that your child may not make it for so long, on and on and on. You're a person of faith. Did you get that from your parents? Were they also, was that part of it, or where did that come in?
Well, to be honest, my immediate family was just my mom, dad, and I only have one other brother, and we were not a church-going family, but started in my early teens, give or take. I'm honestly not sure if it was before 13 or right at 13, give or take. Anyways, so I did start attending church with my cousins on my dad's side, and I did that for a few number of years. But all in all, leading into, I'm more spiritual than religious. Right, I don't believe you have to go to a place designated as a church in order to show worship, because obviously, as I've already said, there is no logical earthly explanation as to why I'm still here. It's because of this, and it's because of the big guy upstairs. So I will listen to other people's philosophies, beliefs on whoever they believe in. I don't judge because it's not my place to. But at the same time, I don't feel a funny, interesting tidbit story is when I was still living in Texas, there was a local bar called Caribbean Cowboy, but to us, the locals, it was called Cece's. And I was in there talking to a guy who was I'd never met before that day. And we just had a casual started talking, and I honestly didn't even know how the conversation took this turn. But he looks at me, he goes, "Do you know what a church actually is?" And I was kind of caught off guard and, dumbfounded. And I thought, well, other than the obvious, he goes, no, really. What do you think a church actually is? And I didn't have an answer. He goes, any place shown as worse. He goes, well, first off, the two things in bars you do not talk about are politics and religion, because it's a lose-lose situation. But this bar right here can be deemed as a church. A church is classified where people can gather to exchange stories and have a good time, and merriment, whatever the case. And so it wasn't really until that point, probably more than 10 years ago now, that's how I actually really started to feel. I did attend church here and there a few times, much later on, within the past 10 years that I've been here. But you do things that you feel in your heart are right. Everybody has a past. Everybody has a story, no better or worse, just different. But it's what you do with your past memories later on in life that you really have to focus on. You made mistakes, but you eventually have to let that bag of bricks, so to speak, bricks go, because it's only hindering you moving forward. And you have to still keep putting one foot in front of the other. I mean, much less everything that I'm doing right now on my daily life. I sometimes can be asked, what do you see 6 months, a year down the road? I don't even look 3 days ahead, because to me, every single day, and this is posted all over Facebook, and a lot of people think the same way, but every single day that you wake up, that's your next blessing. Yeah. You don't put the cart before the horse, so to speak, because you never know what's going to happen. We can all be taken out that quick, and I should have been. I am very fortunate to be 5'8", because, well, the radiation that I was given, it fried my pituitary gland, which administers that chemical that helps you grow. I was then put on a legal growth hormone called protropin for the next 11 years. I was given 6 shots a week for 11 years. And I grew so fast that I have a VP shunt in my head, which has never worked as long as I've been a teenager, because I grew so quickly, the tube pulled apart in my neck. So it's just been dormant all these years, much as the tumor, because of the radiation that I was given. But at the same time, I keep waking up every day. I brush my teeth, I fix breakfast, whatever the case. I do things for me. And if I can help somebody else out, whether it's using my corny opening line, or if I see a lady and I love her hair because I shave my head, I came up with, I love your hair, makes me jealous. And then they look at me and they start laughing because I'm bald. I love helping people feel better about what they're going through, regardless of what it is. It doesn't matter if it's cancer. That's my main focal point. I am here to help other people who are experiencing cancer for the first time, or anywhere between 7 and the last 10 years, who still haven't gone through as many surgeries. But at the same time, everybody goes through something bad. But the thing is, on a daily basis, I can be sitting there waiting for the bus. And the bus schedule is the bus schedule. We don't have any control over that. And I have told numerous people, because I can see them looking at their watch. When's this bus going to get here? It's going to make me late. You cannot control what the bus is going to do. We don't have any control over that. So there's no use in putting out negative energy towards something we don't have any control over. Much as myself, I have neck problems, so I can't do full contact sports, never been able to. I've done martial arts before, but I've been careful, because I realized that you have to control your limitations, but you can't let your limitations control you. And furthermore, you definitely cannot keep a bug in your brain about what doctors are claiming can possibly happen to you. Because I'm a prime example of we listen to the doctors, but at the same time, again, it was this and the big guy upstairs. That's why I'm still here, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, because you cannot keep believing everything doctors say, because they are only taught to say whatever they're gonna say. And I've had plenty of good and bad doctors. I've had the type of doctors who I've been in the room with them, and you just get that they've had a God complex, or they'll have their hand on the doorknob the whole time. They're not engaged with what your concerns are. And then I've had plenty of those that are. I've had plenty of doctors that come. My dermatologist, I've had him for 10 years. He's the type of doctor, he'll come in, we'll give a fist bump, a handshake, he'll hug me. I have broken down and cried in his office before getting into the room to see him because, and this is a sentimental piece, there was a person I had never seen before that was confined to a wheelchair. And the only thing he could move was his head. I guess he was a full-fledged paraplegic or quadriplegic, whatever the case. And a song came over the speaker. And a smile crept across his face. And he just started dancing with his head. And his caretaker, who it could have been a family or caretaker, whatever the case, was wiping, drool away from his mouth or whatever the case. So when I finally get back into the doctor's office and the doctor comes in, I am bawling. And because of, I could have been that same person confined to a wheelchair or a bed, but by the grace of God, I'm not. But watching that person, I am more empathetic than most people. And there's a difference between sympathetic and empathetic, which you probably know this as well. Anybody can sympathize. I know how you're feeling, what you're going through. Well, you may or you may not. But when a person is empathetic, such as the two of us both having cancer in common, you know what I've been through. And I just found out a little bit about what you have been through. But at the same time, we all are put here for some specific reason. And mine is to help people. And there's no two ways around it.
Well, and thank you for going through all of that, because what you did was you just gave us a really great story of what it is and how you are an inspirational person and where you're going with your daily existence right now. You are here to inspire. And you were sharing with me about that before we went live. I want to also recognize that we've got a lot of people that are here, and they're really loving, blessed to be friends with this work of God. And and I asked you the question. Hello, I'm just so glad you're here with us. I asked you this question about your family and the faith and everything, because I wanted to make and I don't usually go there. However, with your story is one that you see yourself in the future being today, and you are here with us today. Today is a gift, and it is called the present, and the present is the gift of today. And your gift for us all is that you are truly inspirational, and that's where you make it very, very clear about your difference between motivational and inspirational. And in fact, you sent over a clip. I want to share it right now, that you shared an inspirational thought, something that I asked if you had a nugget, something you wanted to share, and you sent it over to me. And
yeah.
He's so lickety split got it done. I asked him, and within just like a few moments, it was like, whoa, there it is. I love it. A man that gets things done and gets them done now. Okay, so we're going to share that and then come back.
Control your limitations. Don't let your limitations control you. Every dark cloud has a silver lining. And don't let things you can't control get you down. Worry about things you can.
Goes along with what you were sharing. Worry about the things you can. And, and many would even say, possibly even, don't worry, because of the fact that right now there are so many. You're an example of what I'm about to say. There are so many miracles out there that if we open up our minds and our hearts to this, and that was some of the stuff that you were sharing with Loren, and I know that that's why he nominated you as a service hero, because more and more people want to hear from you, more and more and more. We need to be hearing what it is that you are sharing out there. And we're about at the bottom of the hour. I want to share a couple of videos right now and then go in afterwards to the second part of the show. And when we do, I want to talk about these items, and that is, have you and are you considering writing your story and telling your story, by stage, and if you did, or stage, or like you are right now, and what kind of message are you really focusing on for that future? So we're going to come back. I'm going to share a couple of videos right now about the organization and what's coming here soon that I'm running. It's kind of like a commercial, if you will. However, it is about what is available out there for those that right now may be hearing those words, you have cancer, or know someone that does, and where do you turn? And so here you go.
Life is so fragile, and we're constantly reminded just how fragile life can be, especially when we or a loved one is told we have cancer. Cancer survivor myself, I can tell you, we still feel very alone in this journey.
There's a study that's been showing that patients who are socially isolated have a worse prognosis, have a worse outcome than patients who are socially interconnected.
Buddies for Life is a non-profit cancer support group for those whose life has been impacted by cancer. We'll match you with the perfect buddy. Humor, hope, heart, and hugs.
Humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love.
We're offering you a free membership, so please sign up today. Share this with your friends and family, and support this community in every way you can. No one should face cancer alone.
I am a chemo buddy for life.
We are a buddies network.
No one does cancer alone.
Be a buddy.
And we are all here for you as a community of love.
We are chemo buddies for life.
And if you've heard 3 words, you have cancer, for yourself or someone else, you belong with us at Chemo Buddies for Life.
Healing through connections.
I love that. So you guys, make sure you have on your phones the E360 TV app on your smart TVs everywhere. Just make sure you've got it, because yes, you can then watch Loren and Bathrobe Moments. You can watch the Service Hero Show. However, the whole 36 hours that we will be live, and we will be sharing the message of hope, humor, hope, heart, hugs, and a whole lot of love, that no one has to face cancer alone, and that they can have a buddy for life and be healing through that connection. We are going to be telling that story and having fun on halfway through Cyber Monday, November the 30th, all the way through 36 hours, December the 1st, Giving Tuesday to midnight on the E360 TV platform. So, Rocky, we got to get you involved in that. And so we can get you sharing your inspirational story. That's what I wanted to, after all of that. I mean, we are going global, and it's time right now for those, you understand that's probably more than so many, and that is anybody that has heard those words, you know, and been dealing with, how many surgeries have you had to date now?
100.
100 surgeries. Guys, that's a 1, a 0, and a 0. I don't even have enough hands for it. Put my head there. A 1, 0, 0, 100 surgeries. That is absolutely incredible. And the thought that you are here today in the present. And you told me that you had met someone and they inspired you to start writing. And so you've been writing. So what kind of writing have you been doing? And what do you want to do with it?
Well, the gentleman's name was Dwayne, and I can't remember what his last name was because it was a few years ago, but the title of my book is How the Rock Rolled into a Stone. And the name is kind of catchy in itself because I wanted it to grab people's attention. But at the same time, as I said, it's very green at this point. It's only 20 chapters, and I don't really know I can't remember how long each chapter is exactly. But my mom's younger sister, my Aunt Keke, I wanted her to write the portion of the story while I was still in the hospital to give that prelude to where I took off in the book. And so it's about me growing up, having jobs, having lost jobs because of numerous surgeries. You know, as we had talked, I've dealt with dermatologists. I've had Mohs surgeons, which Mohs surgeon is basically more invasive. A dermatologist can be superficial, you know, just the top layer of the skin. A Mohs surgeon can basically work on you as if they're drilling for oil. I have had very, very many surgeries that have been gone in deep, and you know, I've lost a lot of blood, sweat, tears. I've been sewn up, and I've been knocked out, and I actually developed an immunity to being knocked out at one point to where they had to switch to a treatment which is called Twilight. And I don't mean that stupid vampire movie, but Twilight is a procedure where you're asleep. You can still hear everything that's going on, but you just don't feel any pain. But I developed an immunity to those as well. But I need to actually get another laptop. I'm borrowing my friends to do this show right here. But I need to get in and really reorganize it, because I need to make sure that things are not so much in chronological order, but just to give people, I'm going to put pictures in it as well. And some of my surgery pictures can, you know, turn your stomach just a little bit. But I need to get the point across that anybody with cancer can go through this. And it depends, it goes back to whether they have a dermatologist or a Mohs surgeon. An oncologist goes back towards, they watch your blood and your cancer in your blood, this, that, or the other. So they really have more of a, it's kind of weird saying this, but they have more of a medical sense when it comes to internally than a skin doctor or a Mohs surgeon does. Because, you know, they're the ones performing the surgeries on me, not the oncologist. The oncologist is basically the one that keeps tabs. Say, oh, okay, you still have cancer. You know, we're going to put you on this prescription drug, which a lot of people don't realize. Prescription drugs are designed to make you gain weight. And that's a true fact. And a lot of people don't realize that. But anyways, getting back to the book part is I need to really make sure to connect with everybody, not just people who, once I get it published and it's out there and distributed, whatever, I don't want to just connect to people who have cancer, because everything that I have gone through can happen to anybody. And I don't just mean the cancer surgeries itself. I was homeless for 7 months, from October of 18 until June of 19, when I moved into my last apartment complex. So there is that. I was sleeping on the street. My stuff was in storage. I didn't have any real place to go to. But the point of the matter is, I am trying to help people on whatever level that they may be at this point in their life, whether it's getting back to what I said, just putting a smile on their face by telling them that stupid open liner eye that I have. Or another funny one is, you see these young girls, or even girls of any age, it doesn't matter, walking around with the big tears in the front of their jeans. So I came up with another line that says, "Why, you must go to church, because then some holy pants." So,
there you go.
All the darkness that I have been through, surgery wise, losing jobs, not really losing family, but there's that issue of, I don't know, a little bit of turmoil that can happen. When you're young, you argue with your parents. No kid doesn't go through that. And when they're at that certain age, they think they know everything. Well, go out and prove it, or whatever the case. I've had that, especially with my dad. But at the same point, I want to reach people on any number of levels, because it's important to understand that whatever they're going through, it will pass.
Right. Okay.
That old saying, two ships passing in the night, because everything happens for a reason. You're supposed to meet people. God puts people in your life that you're supposed to meet. Mm-hmm. And then the people that you meet that eventually go away, those are lessons. So my book is, it's a very raw form right now. I've sent it to a couple people to have them critique it for me and say, okay, you need to change this around, or whatever the case. And I haven't had the best of luck with that, but it's still there. It's present. It's always in the back part of my mind. And whenever it's time for me to get it out there, that's when it'll happen.
Absolutely. Exactly. And we have a lot of people within our community that have books in them. They're at one way or another, they're at one stage or another stage. And one of which is Helene also. Helene is an author, and she's in the process of writing either her second or third book. And we all are supporting each other in that. I want to visit back on one thing, and we won't spend too much time on it, but I want to recognize the fact that I think you said it on Loren's show, and that was, you keep your head shaved because you want people to see your scars, correct?
Yes. Depending on the severity of a scar, and I'm not just talking about guys in general who are losing their hair and prefer to shave. The scars on my head are, because hair follicles they can grow through scars, but if it's not damaged enough. And me, I've had oil struck, where blood has just poured down my face, and sorry for the image, but the scars on my head, if I let my hair grow out, it's going to look as if it's one of those Play-Doh factory things where you push the button and it just oozes out,
Yeah.
So because of my personality and my physical demeanor look, I always wanted to rock the mohawk, but I can't, because I have 2 scars right here that would prevent hair from growing right there. So I can have this middle strip, but then somewhere in the top part back here, there's no hair growing. So then I have a patch. And when my parents were a lot younger, their hair grew in so natural and so thick that between the 2 of them, they had enough extra hair for 10 people. And mine grew in that way. But the more surgeries that I had, it's just easier for me to shave my head. A couple of spots that I've had over recent surgeries that have been on my head and in that shaved line, I cannot shave with a razor. So I use it's one of those little battery operated trimmers, but
right. Yeah.
It won't cut me open, so I can get around those spots.
Yeah.
But,
You have to be careful. Yeah.
Especially being here in Arizona, you definitely don't want to have hair, because I hear, getting back to the funny opening line, I'll ask some women, I'll tell some women, I love your hair, it makes me jealous. I've actually had, and I'm not trying to, I guess, stereotype, but I've actually had black women, because some of them wear wigs. I've had black women go, here, you want it?
I love it.
It just catches me off guard.
I love it. It makes me think of Heather Dye and Ashley Rickman and others. Also, she is loving your laughter. And Carol, one of our senior ambassadors and one of the producers of the show, and she did let us know that we were live on E360 again. And I'm encouraging everybody, get your app. Make sure, because we want you ready for the 36-hour event. And she's saying spaghetti Play-Doh look. Ha! I love it. I can
picture that in my head when I was saying it too.
Yeah, I was too, actually, and going into the Halloween season, of which, guys, be ready. On Monday, we are going to have a major Halloween show. I'm going to be really blasting some stuff this weekend about it. We want people showing up, ready to have some fun on Monday for a Halloween show. And so I was thinking of, the spaghetti or you could say the snakes, whatever you want to say. And so as we keep going forward with this, I want to bring up something that I am ever so impressed with you about too. And that is because since you were nominated to be on my show as a service hero, and then suggested to be on someone else's show too. Our vice president of the organization, Misty Lane, she's our vice president of the nonprofit. And so we were all kind of visiting, and you got some really exciting news about, you put an application in somewhere.
Oh yeah.
And you got some exciting news, and I want to bring that out because so many people right now have been shifting and turning and losing their jobs, or things are not working out quite the way they want, and sometimes people do give up. And you show up to every single day. You have that amazing smile, that great giggle, and you even tell us how it is that you're sharing that life may give us some scars, but hey, we can wear them with pride.
Scars with tattoos with better stories.
I love it. So you recently put in an application somewhere, and you got a good news.
Yes, I did. I just recently found out it's on Facebook. If it's in your job feed or whatever the case, that the United States Post Office is in fact hiring. So I went for my fingerprint background check 2 weeks ago tomorrow, and I just found out today, or was it yesterday, that mine came back clean. So on October 24th, which is a week from Saturday, I'll be starting working for the post office. And I knew there wouldn't be any problem getting another government job because I did work for the census earlier this year. I was there for 3 months, and just about 3, maybe 4 days ago, a coworker of mine told me that they had finally just quit doing the census, because I was working at the call center in Tempe, Arizona. And most money I'd ever made. It was a great job, and it was the first time I'd ever been, because I'm not blue collar corporate America. I don't sit on my butt answering phones, which this was the first job that I had ever actually done that. It was really interesting. It was nice. I ended up, one of the very few jobs I've had, and Lord knows I've ran the gambit of jobs. It was one of the very few jobs I've ever had where the money was excellent. I ended up getting along with everybody, a lot, even my supervisors, and the hours were great. And I left prematurely because people that are on Medicare, and this has been seen on Facebook as well. I don't know if you've come across it or not, but there's been a thing on Medicare that's talking about you can get up to $144 extra in your check every month. Well, that is true. But the thing is, at least here in Arizona, you'll have to check with your Social Security office. But 2 years in a row, 19 and this year, you have to refile if you make so much money. See, for me, the state of Arizona, and I don't understand how this works at all, but the state of Arizona stopped paying for my Medicare Part B, which covers the 80-20%.
Right.
And so what I don't understand is when they're not paying for it, they take it out of your check. But when they're paying for it, it's included in your check. I don't understand that. But nevertheless, that's one thing that anybody who's curious about that and is going through that similar situation, contact your local Social Security office. But at the same time, I was making great money. I actually ended up getting insurance through the government because of the job, even though it was a temp service.
Right.
Because it was government, and then there was a second company that starts with it, Maverick, and then it was Pearl, which is who we were contracted under. We were contracted under Maverick, who worked for the government, blah, blah, blah. So that was the hierarchy. So I was making great money, and it was a great job. The hours were perfect. The problem was, in my mind, I thought I really needed to leave, which I did, in order to, because the longer that I stayed there and the money that I was making was going to prevent me that much longer in order to get my Medicare Part B back.
Okay.
So
right.
foolishly enough, I ended up leaving, and I hadn't worked since July when I left. I fell across the post office, and according to the sheet, when we went for the fingerprinting, it reads you can get as low as 20 hours a week. And I'm making less for the post office as a package handler's assistant, or I will be, than what I was making for the census. But nevertheless, they're both government jobs. Right. But at the same time, the sheet read that I could get as low as 20 hours a week or as many as 40. Well, this is peak time coming up for them.
Oh yeah. This is a great time to be a part of this. And so the bottom line, and why I wanted to go here with it, is that, each day show up to your day. Each day look for an opportunity to win, because you do, and you found this opportunity for yourself to go forward. And if you can stay with this job, do a good job and everything, you may have your future set. And that is something that right now a lot of people are saying, what? Right now during COVID, really? You may have found one of those nuggets, if you will, an opportunity to say, okay, yeah, and if nothing else, you found something else that's going to get you through to tomorrow. And I want to applaud you on that, and so are so many others. Because you're not giving up. We need to continually be inspiring each other. Mm-hmm. Inspiration. And you were explaining on to me and on Loren's show that one of your goals, and one of the things you have done already, and that is you see yourself as an inspirational speaker, not a motivational speaker. And that's a very, very important thing for you, correct?
Yes. And the simple analogy that everybody can get is I work out every other day. I've been working out since I was 21. I've had my downs and my ups. I'm nowhere physically where I want to be, but I'm still in good. Other than having cancer, there's not really anything wrong with me. I have hypothyroidism, which makes your metabolism function less, so you're not burning as much weight as you should. Anyways, so for those height charts that you see online, for somebody who's 5'8", such as myself, I'm supposed to weigh 180 pounds. Well, they don't take into account muscle mass. So I'm almost about 240 for 5'8", but I'm an eativore. I love to eat. But at the same time, I lost my train of thought. What did you ask me? Sorry, that's a product of chemo brain.
And guys, it's real chemo fog, chemo brain, whatever you want to call it, and it happens, and it's not a problem. Now, what I was asking about, and what I was leading you is that you were saying, and you are letting everybody know that you see yourself much more of the inspirational speaker rather than the motivational Tony Robbins, that you are Rocky Stone, and you actually changed your name, right?
In 2011, I changed my name. But the analogy that I was getting to about the gym part is you can go to the gym with a friend of yours, and he or she is spotting you on the bench. And they're saying, okay, take a deep breath, give it your all. I know you have one more in you. You're feeding off of their energy. That's motivation. To inspire is making somebody want to do it for themselves.
Right. Right.
So that's the best analogy that I have for that.
And that's a great analogy because, you know, especially how important it is, and you know it, I know it, any of the buddies that are here and anybody that will watch it in the future. So please hashtag live, hashtag replay, that we, more than many or anybody that is facing any kind of a challenge, a health challenge in particular, that you need to find that reason from within to say it's mindset, heart set, that inspiring, like yourself to say, okay, whatever it is today I have to face, I will face it, and I will face it, and I'll get through it. I'll get through it, and I'm going to love through it. I'm going to, you know, be able to laugh through it. There's, you know, the laughter is one of our best healers. We're going to get through this. And when you can be a part of a community, that when you're having those days that you're down a little bit, that there will be those that will be there to be, like you said, you know, they may motivate, they may inspire, whatever it may be, because you may need that spark reignited inside. And don't beat yourself up if that's what you need, because we're human and we can all be there together. Because if we give up on ourselves, that is not a good combo for someone that is facing, you know, if you will. I actually wore my khakis in honor of you, kind of like the fight, you know, like that fighting spirit. Like, okay, yeah, we're in this, we're going to get through this, get through it, not let it define us, and then go on. And that's what you are inspiring so many to do, Rocky.
It goes back to the controlling your limitations thing, because again, you can't control when the bus is going to get there. You can't control traffic. You can't control how your day at work is going to go, but you can control taking care of your husband, wife, girlfriend, family. You can control putting dinner on the table, you know, every night, because you're going to a place that you may or may not enjoy going to work-wise, because not a lot of people can say, I love my job. Everybody has to work, even things that they didn't consider doing, such as myself. You know, I never thought I would be working at a call center, but I did, and I really rather enjoyed it. And one of the small things that when I just visited my dermatologist this last time, and I was telling him I was waiting to hear back from the post office, I love him to death. His thing for me is, are you wearing sunscreen? Are you wearing a hat? And I keep telling him, I already have cancer. I'm not gonna lather myself up as Casper the Ghost just to go out in the sun. The most dangerous times are between the hours of 10 and either 3 or 4. I think it's 3 o'clock here in Arizona, but nevertheless, I focus on things I can control, which is making people happy. I do things for me, because it sounds selfish to say it that way, but you have to do what is best for you. My job history, I can probably guess 3 jobs that I've had longer than, 3 to 6 months. And the post office is hopefully going to be on that short list, very, very short list. But at the same time, surgeries have knocked me out of the job. But I've been on disability since I was 21. When I turned 21, I lost my medical insurance through my dad being retired Navy, which was TRICARE. You're probably familiar with that one. So he wrote a whole bunch of letters, made a whole bunch of phone calls, and they reinstated it. But there were conditions. And of course, at 21, I'm thinking these will never happen anyways. But I could not, where's my camera? I couldn't move out or get married. And the other one was, I had to apply for Social Security, but not necessarily be approved, but they approved me. And so I've been on it since I was 21. My math sucks. So however old I am now. But when my dad turned 65 and finally retired, that gave him, started giving him Social Security, which means they started giving me what's called survivor's benefits.
Right.
So when he died in 2011 from stage 4 lung cancer, because he was a chronic smoker, those give me bumps. So January, which there's going to be another one coming up it's called the COLA, which is an acronym for the cost of living adjustment. And as of right now, it's going to be one of the lowest it's ever been, which is 1.3%, which is less than $20. Mm-hmm. Last January, it went up the highest it's ever been in 30 plus years, which was 3.3%. So whenever that COLA hits, I get an increase between both checks. The average cost right now, and I actually looked this up last year, is for somebody who's on disability, I don't know about survivor's benefits, but there's Social Security, there's SSDI. I don't really know the difference. But the average cost somebody is getting on Social Security right now is $1,470 a month. And I made a Facebook video about it because I wanted to give people exactly what I said in the video, a realization of Social Security versus rent income. Because there's a lot of people that are on disability who are trying very, very hardly to get into Section 8 housing, which can take up to 2 years to do.
Right.
In downtown Phoenix, they're actually erecting, I think it's already built, a brand new, almost condominium-sized complex that is actually going to be pretty much Section 8 approval. And it has a long waiting list, granted, but at the same time, the video that I was really thinking, because of the research that I had done and knowing what I was going through, because I've been in Section 8 before and it was only one time. But for me, and everything that I had been through, I wasn't one of these kids that was lucky enough to move out when they were 16, 18, 21 and, provide for themselves. I'm still honestly not, because if it weren't for Social Security and my survivor's benefits, or disability and survivor's benefits, I wouldn't be able to afford most of my bills. But, that's working any normal job. But I
don't want to cut you off, but we've got to get this closed down because of the fact that we've got the next show coming on here soon, and we're in the live stream. And so the bottom line of what I'm hearing right now, and I want to again say thank you for inspiring so many, is that we do need these conversations. And there are many that are, because of health issues and health challenges, that are receiving some type of aid and making it somehow a fair situation where you can have the aid, you can then get your medical care, and then you can have a place to live and eat where you're not going to be out on the street because of the fact you have to make a decision. Do I eat today or do I live for tomorrow? And that's another discussion, and we will go there. I want to say thank you for being the service hero that you are, Rocky. You are truly inspiring, and your story today, I know, will be inspiring so many more for tomorrow. So, guys, make it a great weekend, and be ready for Halloween on the Service Hero Show Monday. Show up. See you there.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.